Welcome to the Bucher and Friends podcast, co-starring 10-year NFL veteran and Super Bowl champion, Will Blackman.
Manning from the end zone. He throws, and a deflect away, and it is picked off by Will Blackman, the former Giant.
Tim Dwight watches it hit, bounces, picks it up at the 10, slips a defender, fumbles the football, it's up for grabs, it's covered in the end zone by Will Blackman for a Green Bay touchdown!
And now, here is your host,
Let's send it over to Rick Bucher.
Rick Bucher.
Welcome to another episode of Bucher and Blackman, subsidiary of Bucher and Friends, part of the United WeCast Network. I'm Rick Bucher. You can see me on FS1, read me on Bleacher Report, hear me on radio.com, follow me on Twitter at Rick Bucher, and on Instagram at Rick_Bucher. He is Super Bowl champ, NFL vet, Will Blackman. You can hear him on Fox Radio. You can see him on FS1. And you can also find him at NFL Wine Guy.
Yes.
And if the modeling career that he's trying to kickstart once again takes off, you'll be finding him on.
Cut it out. Just stop.
On magazine covers.
No.
Far and wide. I saw the post. Where
it was all good and fun.
Your
no one's trying to get back in the game. It was all good and fun.
So Will's son, Ryder, is just amazing. He's simply amazing in everything. And he's already in commercials. Great athlete, great student. And...
No, I can't stand him.
You can't stand Ryder?
Yeah.
Because he's so successful?
Already.
Yes. Probably makes you sick. He's
doing a... yesterday he had a Ralph Lauren polo photo shoot, and he has another one tomorrow.
Yes. So I'm glad you brought that up. So already hitting the big time, and apparently the photographer, was it the photographer or the director? Who was it that approached you? And
what about him?
Yeah.
So what about him?
Asked you if you had done any modeling, and you said, well, actually, now that you mention it.
This is what happened. So I walk up with Ryder to introduce him to everybody. And the guy looks at me. He was like, "You're his dad." I was like, "Yeah." He's like, "Right." He said, "Because I was like, I don't think we booked this guy." He goes, "Have you done this? Have you done this before?" Yeah. And I was like, "A long time ago." And he just kept staring at me, you know.
Huh.
And he's like, "Okay," just keep staring. And then later he's like, "We got to get you doing something." I was like, back in my day.
There you go. I got to tell you, man, you like the European like men's cologne. You're a spitting image of some of the cats that they use that. You got that look. You got that. You would be pushing Euro stuff.
Well, I appreciate it. I got to lose about 15, 20 pounds, but I appreciate that.
Yeah. So.
Which is what's going to happen. I'm on the prowl right now to lose this football weight.
Are you?
Yeah.
For any particular purpose? Oh, wait a minute. So what does that mean? You're losing football weight. That means you are not playing football?
No.
Are you hanging it up? Are you officially hanging it up? What's the deal?
Yeah, no particular announcement. I'm just casually moving on.
So you are moving on?
Yeah.
There won't be next summer. What if somebody makes a call? Says, hey, what's the deal?
Next year? No.
Yeah.
After this season, if I don't play this year, then that's it. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
I'm looking forward to TV in 2020. Big things on the horizon. Big things.
Oh, okay. And anything that you'd like to share?
In terms of TV?
Yeah.
Nothing yet. Nothing I want to share yet.
Okay. So does this close the door on you playing this year? The door is not closed for this year, but I am not actively stressing out about it.
Gotcha. If the playoffs came about and somebody was like, "Hey, we need insurance," then sure, I'll do that. Yeah, but once this season concludes and the next season calendar year opens up in March, I am not available.
Got you. Okay.
For life.
All right. Moving on to being a model for colognes and European Armani suits and a big TV career. Okay, there we go. We got it covered. All right. A couple other guys who are at a crossroads that I want to get to. Antonio Brown being at the top of the list. Came out with another social media post. And
that I can't see because I'm blocked.
You're blocked by him?
Yeah.
Why?
I don't know.
Huh. Did you say something?
Not to him. I don't remember saying anything. You know what? I think I retweeted like a Juju Smith thing a long time ago. That might have did it right there.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. All right. So I guess maybe this is a loaded question under the circumstances, but he has basically suggested that he's being blackballed, taking another shot at the NFL and Big Ben, et cetera, and people are worried now about Antonio Brown as far as his psychological state. People are also, I should mention, people are also worried about Kyrie Irving, who did a similar thing on Instagram after he got booed in Boston, didn't show up.
Which is so silly to me.
Both? One or the other?
Well, the Kyrie rant when he just went off, it's like, dude, that's just part of it, man.
Yes.
Like you're not there anymore.
Yes, and I just took it as someone who is just, venting their spleen on social media, but I've since been told the people are concerned about the mental state of Kyrie Irving. That even to the
That
point,
I understand that part, yeah.
just that he's, for whatever reason, he's in disarray, way beyond just having his feelings hurt because of the reception or the reaction in Boston. That said, Antonio Brown, kind of a different. We've been down this road a couple times, and he seems to be conflicted in some way, shape, or form, and has given indications that this is not necessarily new. I just wonder, when you look at Antonio Brown's situation, do you feel sorry for him?
I would say, I don't know if I feel sorry, but I'm more concerned about him than I would be Kyrie.
Why?
Because I feel like a lot of the things that's going on with Antonio Brown is just irrational and crazy. It's like there's so much positive things that he could have looked forward to and could have taken it full advantage of, and then he just had these outbursts. For him to be that good and to not be in the NFL, for him to be that good and for teams, for organizations to have nothing to do with him, they don't want anything to do with him, to go off on these rants to snapping and then apologizing, snapping and then apologizing and going back and forth, it's more so concern. I feel sorry for guys who didn't mean it, and people are going off. Like I felt sorry for Kaepernick when he tried to take a stand, or basically take a knee and stand up for justice, basically, and people took it the wrong way and said that he's disrespecting the flag and the military. I felt bad for Cap then with that.
Do you feel bad? I don't know if we've talked about this. Do you feel bad about where Cap finds himself now after the workout?
I don't feel bad because I don't know what he wants.
Right.
That's why. I don't know what he wants.
I had the same shift. I was on board with Cap, and then we went through this last exercise, and my impression was he wanted to come back and play in the league. But then the way the entire thing was even though I don't think that the NFL was genuine in how they were setting it up, I feel as if they were trying to mollify people who felt that Cap was being blackballed by creating this workout. Even though I know there were teams that were, had suggested they were interested, etc. It just didn't
here's
have
the thing. Here's the thing. None of us know what happened in that meeting. Only the people in that room know what happened.
Right. But we do know what we know what the result was, which was it was kind of a take it or leave it setup by the NFL.
But we don't know if it was like, you have to set up a workout for us. That we don't know if that was in the language and whatever the agreement was. No one knows.
Okay.
So they were like, you got to give us a workout, and maybe Roger was like, sure, on my terms, just be ready.
Right. So
in my case, I only heard one side of the story. I heard Roger's side. I didn't hear Cap's side. I actually talked to Roger, so I heard his side, and I was like, all right. I didn't take his side. I just heard it.
well, but I feel as if I heard capsize. Capsize. He capsized. I heard Cap's side of things after the workout, and the fact that he abruptly moved the workout. It just, the whole thing had a bad feel, and I walked away from it thinking, okay, I don't really know what Cap wants, but he's still obviously fighting the NFL. And if you think you can fight the NFL and play in the NFL at the same time, then you're not realistic about how the NFL operates. Because they're not going to let you into the club when you're trying to defy them and basically, criticize them.
But that's been the narrative all along. He had his best. I think he had his best chance if he truly wanted to play. He had his best chance to play in 2017. During training camp, is when the tweet from his girlfriend came out.
Right.
And then not too long ago is when he filed for grievance.
Right. So I don't want to make this.
Yeah, me neither.
I don't want to.
But my point was, I felt sorry for Cap. That's why his name came up when people took what he did the wrong way. I am concerned with AB because he had a situation where anyone would kill for that situation, to be on a team with all that money, like, or to go to New England and be the same thing, So I don't know.
He's had multiple ideal situations.
Yeah, so more so concern.
Right. And here's the thing. My only reluctance in having concern is I don't know if he's really troubled and he's a danger to himself, or if he's just really immature. Like really immature. And I have a hard time feeling sorry for someone who at 31 years of age is just immature. And that's where, and I don't know, that's where I'm slow to go, man, I'm really worried about it. Something's wrong with AB. And I think something is wrong with AB, but I don't know if it's just tremendous immaturity and he doesn't realize what he's kicking to the curb, or whether, he's got some sort of mental break or has had something happen that has thrown him off the rails. And if it's the latter, then certainly, but I don't know that definitively, and I guess I'm I'm reluctant to jump into feeling sorry for him if this is indeed his own, kind of by his own hand. You know what I mean?
Right.
So, on to bigger and better things. One of the other, I want to get this before I go to the big topic, which is QBs. And I say your era as if it was a long time ago. I don't mean that, but quarterbacks that you may have played against, or quarterbacks over the last, say, 10 years or so, 10, 12 years, maybe 15 years, that if they were coming in the league today would have excelled. I want to get to that in a second, but I do want to ask you, because of the Patriots situation. Last time we talked about them, I think it was after the Ravens beat them, you were still all in on the Patriots. Still thought that they could be the best team in the AFC. Still thought they could go to the Super Bowl.
Right.
I'm just checking in. Do you still feel that way? Or has there been anything else that's happened with them that gives you pause, that makes you wonder? Because I ask that not just to see where you are, but because there are a lot of people that seem to have always believed in the Patriots who are now saying, maybe not, because they're largely because Tom Brady's not Tom Brady, doesn't have the weapons around him. Brady's no longer in a position where he can make a souffle out of a couple of eggs.
No, I feel like the issue is the Patriots looked very, very scary against lesser opponents at the beginning of the year. They were just absolutely dominating and taking over. And I think now people kind of see them. Am I there?
Yeah, you're there. You're good.
Hold on, maybe it's my headphones. Give me 1 second. Sorry.
Yeah, I think it's your headphones because nothing has changed about how you sound.
Okay. I just feel like
don't do a Ryan Hollins on me.
I don't know what he did.
Ryan, I don't know. He obviously, I'm going to bring this up with him. He obviously never listens to the show once it goes out on iTunes, because there are times where he basically puts together his studio, like is moving his desk, the box that he puts his microphone on, the microphone. He's doing all that while we're recording and going, oh, can you hear that?
Oh my God.
And I've had listeners who are like, would you tell Ryan we can all hear it? So, yeah. So don't be Ryan.
Yeah, I just feel like
So you've changed.
you shifted.
You've shifted.
Yeah. I just feel like they just look more human, and they're losing to teams in a weird fashion in terms of just being dominated, not so much as losing like the last second, just getting beat overall. Especially that Houston game was a huge eye opener. And then, Tom Brady looks fine.
Mm-hmm.
He's throwing the guys who aren't used to making key catches in situations. They're not making the plays that they need to make. The guys are just keying on Julian Edelman, and he has nowhere to go. Then it makes it tough on the defense because they've been doing the work the entire season. So I have not lost faith in them. I don't think they are the best team
in the AFC.
In the AFC, exactly, in the AFC. But if they get in, it will be interesting because I feel like they've overcame a lot.
How much does it change things if they don't have home field advantage and they don't have a bye in the first round?
I don't think it changes much.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean
because they've always enjoyed that.
They enjoy being home, but they went on the road last year. They went to Kansas City and ended up going to the Super Bowl. Yeah, it was like they squeezed. They barely got in,
right?
Due to an offsides. But they were. This is it's a championship team, and they've been on the block. They've seen what they need to do. So it's just a huge adjustment for them. That's why it's fascinating. It's a team that has always won, and it's hard to always be that good.
Sure,
it's hard to win all the time. So it's interesting to see what they do.
I wonder how much the mystique going away, losing in Foxborough, and losing to AFC challengers, and predictably the Ravens, like people saying, hey, they can't handle Lamar Jackson, and then it turns out they can't handle Lamar Jackson. How much of that affects just the general? There was an intimidation factor. We got to go into Foxborough. We got to play the Patriots. Belichick's going to scheme something that's going to change the dynamic. Brady's going to make a play that you can't scheme, and that's I'm not saying it can't happen. I'm just saying it hasn't happened in situations that we're used to seeing it happen, and I wonder whether that erodes just some of the natural advantage that they have.
Well, look, the Patriots right now are they're going to try to win. They're just trying to win the division, which is the automatic ticket. And while they finish up the season, they got guys that are breaking down the Chiefs, that are breaking down the Ravens, that are breaking down the Texans. They are getting ready for round 2 versus one of these teams,
right?
Or a couple of them, if they get past the first round. So that's what's going on now. They're just, okay, let's just go beat Buffalo and win the division.
I'd be remiss in not asking about the latest violation or skirting of the rules by the Patriots in filming the Browns-Bengals sidelines. What your take is on that? Do they deserve punishment? This is what I don't get. Everybody's saying they didn't get any advantage from doing it, but so why's the rule in place?
Right, you still did it.
Yeah, you broke a rule. I mean, honestly, we don't know why they were doing it, so there's maybe something that they are gaining from it. I heard someone mention personnel grouping. I don't know, how much what kind of advantage that necessarily gives you, but the fact of the matter is they have a reputation and a history. This isn't a first time. They're not a first-time offender. And they got caught doing something again. And for all those that are like dismissing it, I just, when it's the same team over and over again, it's like Greg Williams getting in trouble for something again. You go, well, we got kind of a history.
There's
here.
A history, yeah.
Right? It's so.
Right. It's either it could be a lesser crime, but it's still a crime. They still did something. Like someone can attack someone else with a knife, and if you don't actually cut them, it's still assault.
Right. Right.
Right.
We got some things going on in our political world that's the same thing. It's like, well, it didn't happen. It was like, yeah, but it's not. Doesn't mean they didn't try.
Right. Exactly.
So, and who knows? Maybe the Patriots got what they wanted out of that. It'll be interesting to see how it impacts the game. But it like, I don't think it's the reason that they're that breaking rules isn't why they've had the run that they've had. But I will say I don't put an asterisk on it, but it does put a little shade on it. It does, it's one thing to resent a team that is just wins as much as the Patriots do. And that's going to be natural, that everybody in the country outside of New England is going to resent all of their success. But then when they repeatedly break rules, it almost gives people justification to not like them. And they don't have to do that. They don't have to go that far, right?
Right.
So, all right. The last subject is...
you said quarterbacks?
Yeah, quarterbacks in this... the mobile quarterback, the athletic quarterback. Once upon a time, when I covered the NFL as a beat writer, Joe Montana and Steve Young they were basically, you got to stop running in order to prove that you're a real quarterback and you're worthy of succeeding Joe Montana. Because Young could run, and he was a threat running. And it was almost like you got to stand in the pocket and get hit a couple times rather than take off to prove that you're a real quarterback. That was the mentality of the era. And I still believe that to be an elite quarterback, you do have to be able to operate out of the pocket. But now with the rules the way they are, and I think the inability to just clock a quarterback, you have to be so careful in how you tackle them. I think there's a real advantage, and there's less danger in a guy truly getting whacked. And so for all that, I just wonder, are there quarterbacks that you saw over the last 10, 15 years that you think, if they were coming in the league now, if they were Lamar Jackson, they would be doing Lamar Jackson things, or they would have had a different career?
You mean mobile-wise like Lamar?
Yeah. Well, I don't know how many people are mobile like Lamar.
Yeah, because, you go back to 2001, obviously Vic.
But, yeah.
And Vince Young.
What about Vince Young? That was the name that jumped out at me. Because I've heard people talk about seeing him in college.
He did do that his rookie year. And then I don't know what happened after that, He did do that.
Yeah. But I feel like he was still, it was, well, how are you as a thrower of the football? I feel like RG3 was close enough to this era. Maybe not, but I feel like RG3's issues were somewhat of his own making. Even when he ran, he didn't know how to slide. Like he hurt himself. His decision making when he ran wasn't good.
I wouldn't say so much like, there are a lot of quarterbacks that could have done well. However, he has tremendous coaching where they understand what they have in a player, like in a player of Lamar Jackson's caliber. They are doing everything in their power to showcase what he has to set him up for success. Because we can't say Lamar could be in Arizona and doing this with Kingsbury.
Right.
We can't say that he'll be in Green Bay doing this with LaFleur.
So what are you seeing that they are doing that is setting him up for success that maybe not every team would do?
Well, for one, they built a team around him where it is very, very aggressive and powerful. Like what they do offensively, they just straight wear teams out. There are no tricks. There's nothing confusing. You just have to be disciplined. You have to be physical. You have to be able to do it for a long, long time. And they also have two other running backs that are capable of running for 100 yards. So not only do you have to account for Lamar, for him running for 100, you have to account for, Mark Ingram, Gus Edwards, and then they have a fantastic tight end. They have Greg Roman, who's done this very similar with Kaepernick, who understands what he has. And I mentioned before, last year they had Coach Marty Mornhinweg, who did this with Michael Vick when he was in Philly, where Vick came back and went crazy. They're doing exactly what you're supposed to do when you have this type of player. You set him up for success. You don't try to change him. You look at what he did at Louisville, and you definitely try to duplicate it, and you find ways to showcase it. Otherwise, you're doing yourself a disservice. Yeah. It's very similar to what the Panthers did as well when they got Cam. They didn't try to make Cam a pocket passer. They didn't try to make him Jake Delhomme. They said Cam's going to be Cam, so we're going to have design runs for Cam because that's what he did at Auburn.
Right. One guy who's in the middle of this, guy who was almost out of the league or looked like he was not going to make it and now is flourishing, is Ryan Tannehill, who appears to be the future franchise quarterback for the Tennessee Titans, who are still very much in the mix, have recovered from a slow start to now tied with the Texans for the AFC South, and are doing it in surprisingly much more dominant fashion. Their plus minus their scoring margin differential is plus 63, while the Texans are plus 8. If you had asked me, I would have never guessed that their margins were that distinctly different. In fact, just thinking of how the Texans were at the beginning of the year, I might have said it was the other way. Are you buying Tannehill? Are you buying the resurgence? What did you think of him when he was struggling? How do you explain the story of Ryan Tannehill right now?
Oh, when he was in Miami?
Yes.
I don't know, man. It was just a different team. Sometimes players just need a fresh start and just need to reset. I think just overall, whatever was going on in Miami just wasn't going well towards the end, and there were a lot of changes coming. And I think when he came into this situation in Tennessee and signed as the backup, there was absolutely no pressure, none, because the pressure was all on Marcus Mariota. And if he messed up, okay, I go in there and do what I can do, because only thing they know about me is what happened in Miami. So there are no expectations for me, none. There's no pressure, whatever. People can say, "Oh, he's auditioning for the other teams." It's like, okay, I can't play, much worse than the guy who just played in front of me. So let me just go ahead, play football, have fun, and do my thing. And that's what I seen. I mean, he only lost. I would say, okay, he lost 2 games, but technically he really lost 1. The Denver game was kind of whatever. They lost 16-0, but after that, I mean, he beat the Chargers, beat the Chiefs, beat Indy, beat Oakland. And I mean,
He's been good.
They're putting up numbers. Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
35, 42, 31, doing very well. And I think the whole time he only threw, 3 picks or 5 picks, something like that. He's playing lights out. And it's interesting.
But even his numbers in Miami were good. I mean, if I'm not mistaken, he had the ratio, certainly a strong plus to TD to interception ratio, like 120 to 70 or something like that.
They were okay.
It was good.
He averaged, maybe like 13 picks a season.
He had some injuries too, I think. Like I think he blew an ACL, right?
Yeah, he lost some time his last 2 years in Miami.
Right.
But,
so like
yeah, I mean he had 2 losing seasons.
Yeah. Well, I think he had the only winning season that we've seen with the Dolphins in the last few years. So with Vince Young, or I'll throw another name out there, Josh Freeman. I don't know what your take is on him. If you took those guys and you put them in Baltimore, and they were coached up and the design was presented, could they do what Lamar is doing? Is that being
Vince? Maybe Vince.
Yeah, not Josh.
Maybe no. Hell no. Definitely not Josh. No.
Okay.
But let alone take away. Like, let's go to the original thing you brought up. The way the rules are now, I think a lot of quarterbacks would come in this league today and light it up.
Yeah.
Because even with Michael Vick, here's the thing. I know people want to compare and say, Lamar's better, this, that. I get it, But with Michael Vick, he didn't really have any design runs. It was kind of like, okay, I went through my first and second read, I'm out of here.
Right.
And then on top of that, when Vick was playing, you were allowed to tee off on him.
Right.
Which is going to get into your other question that you wanted to ask me. You were allowed to blast him. You can't hit these guys anymore. If the guy has 1 foot inbounds, you touch him, it's a flag. You throw him on the ground, it's a flag. You do anything, it's a flag. So even though they may not get sacked, they would get They would get punished. Like, hey, make sure you get a shot on this guy. It's punishment, and it wore on them over and over and over again. I couldn't imagine Favre playing where you weren't allowed to hit him.
Right.
Right. Dan Marino, they was getting decapitated back then.
Yep.
So these guys were already like tough OGs that were like, yeah, I'll stand there in the fire and I'll go through all my reads and you won't hit me. I'm good. That's why Tom's still playing.
Right.
That's why Ryan Fitzpatrick's still playing. That's why all these guys. That's why Drew Brees is still playing. Because they don't have to worry about that. They're healthy. We can talk about Tom versus time and his diet, his nutrition, what he's doing. No, at the end of the day, you can't hit Tom.
Right. So here's the thing. There are the rules, and then there are quarterbacks who are now running and sort of exploiting the rules, but they're still like the Ravens took issue or said that there were defensive players who were aiming for and I'm laughing just saying it, but that they were aiming for Lamar's legs. They were trying to take him out, and they suggested it was like underhanded or dirty or unfair or whatever it might be. I'm asking you, but for me, it's like, look, what are you supposed to do? The dude's killing you. I'm going to try to take him. I'm going to take him out. I'm not trying to blow out his knee, but I am going to try to take him down. And I have this, and he's so elusive. It's like, I'm going to try to tackle Lamar Jackson any way I can. I'm like, forget about trying to size him up and take him down the right way. Yes, if I can get to his legs, I'm going to get to his legs because I got to make sure I take him down. Am I missing something? No,
you're not missing something. Now, maybe they're implying there's something extra going on after the whistle, but with a guy who's elusive, that's what you do. I remember my 2008 when, I was at one point leading the NFL in punt returns. I already had two to the house, and I had a really good average. And eventually, guys started shooting right through my thighs.
Uh-huh.
They said, because if we hit him high, we're going to miss.
Mm-hmm.
We try to grab his waist, we're going to miss. Like, dive right at his quads, dive right at his knees, and make him change direction. If we hit him, we're going to keep wearing his legs down. Do that. And I was like, oh, I see what they're doing now. They're trying to, really have me make an adjustment.
And probably trying to put a lick on you that's going to slow you down a little bit. It's going to put a little ache on you where you're not as quick.
Because look, all the people, if you go look at all the people that Lamar made miss, they all were trying to wrap him up high.
Yeah.
And that is easy pickings. I wish a guy would try to tackle me in my shoulders. I will bet 10 out of 10 times that person will miss.
Well, here's the other part. If I dare say that if the Ravens didn't have the best record in football and didn't have a plus minus scoring margin of 215, which also is far and away the best in the league, then there wouldn't be this concerted effort to take Lamar Jackson down and out. I mean, when you're at the top of the mountain and you're embarrassing people, it is human nature, it's competitive nature to say, I'm going to put an end to this one way or the other.
Right.
That's just the reality. So it seems, and especially, you know what, a little off-putting is to hear this from the Ravens. The Ravens are one of the most physical football teams and have been for. But that's what people think. Defensively, they have not been early this year until as of late. Offensively, they have been. Offensively, right? They've been cutting guys down low. They've been chop blocking people. They've been absolutely. That's what I'm saying. That's what's to take your side. Offensively, yes, they have been like that all year. Mm-hmm. So for them to be like, you're hitting our quarterback's legs, when go watch the film, you guys are cut blocking everybody. Right. These tight ends are barrel rolling into defensive backs' legs. So but traditionally, their defense has been physical too.
Physical though, not dirty, but physical.
Yeah, no. I get it. So, but still, I mean, that AFC North division has been like that for the most part.
This is we're not talking the 2009 Saints here. We're talking about the
right.
Right.
Well, everything's relative. In any event, I mean, it's the same reason that Tom Brady can be off-putting when he complains about things. It's like, dude, you're winning, you're kicking everybody's ass. People are going to come after you, and you want to be treated with kid gloves. There's a price to be paid when you're at the top of the mountain. If you complaining just doesn't sit well.
If Dez Bryant is healthy, Patriots should work him out.
Dez Bryant. Ooh. What about, there's no chance they bring Antonio Brown back?
No.
Yeah. What's the status of Josh Gordon there?
He's in Seattle.
That's right. I'm drawing a blank. I knew he was. Is he hurt right now? There was some reason there was a question in my mind about Josh Gordon.
His hamstring, apparently they said his hamstring was not healthy, and they tried to put him on IR. I guess he did a settlement, and then they let him go, and then he ended up signing with Seattle.
That's what it is.
He said in terms of quarterbacks, I am trending up.
Yes. My bad. All right. That does it for this episode of Bucher and Blackman, subsidiary Bucher and Friends, part of the United WeCast Network. Please rate and review the show on iTunes or wherever you get your podcasts. And then if you want us to do something for you, screenshot the review and send it to us at Bucher Friends, and you'll be eligible to win some prizes. In the next podcast, trying to think where we are in the schedule. It will be either Bucher Friendless, or I'm going to be out and about, so may have a special guest for you in the next podcast. Please stay tuned for that. In the meantime, for Will and myself and the NFL Wine Guy, as always, thanks for listening.